The space station hung like a bright jewel at the edge of the galaxy, its massive docking bays glowing against the dark velvet of space. Ships of all shapes and sizes moved in careful choreography, traders calling across airlocks, merchants shouting prices in alien tongues, and travelers hurrying along suspended walkways. Humans were rare here, and even rarer were those who had survived the deeper reaches of space with the skill and reputation of Captain Elias Drake. Elias walked through the station with calm confidence. His boots clicked softly on the metal floor as he made his way to the dock, where a small, sleek shuttle had just arrived. He had been assigned to guide a visiting diplomat, an alien princess from the Tharna Empire, a race known for their elegance and strong traditions. Elias had met diplomats before, but never royalty directly, especially not one so young and full of curiosity. As he approached, the shuttle's hatch hissed open, and the princess stepped out. Liara, in her flowing ceremonial robes, looked every bit the figure of grace and authority. Her skin shimmered faintly under the station lights, and her eyes were wide with wonder at the crowded scene before her. For a moment, she seemed unsure, adjusting to the bustling energy around her. "You must be Captain Drake," she said, her voice musical yet hesitant. "I've heard much about humans, but this is different." Elias smiled, bowing slightly. "Welcome to the station, Princess Liara. It's crowded, yes, but nothing we can't handle. Let me show you to your quarters and make sure you're settled safely." Liara nodded, but her gaze drifted toward the larger ships docked nearby. One vessel in particular caught her attention, a veteran human exploration ship, its hull scratched from countless journeys, yet radiating quiet power. "It's big," she murmured, a blush creeping across her cheeks. She hesitated, then added, "Sit here?" pointing to the captain's chair on the bridge, visible through the transparent hull. Elias chuckled softly, understanding immediately. "Ah, the chair. Not everyone gets a chance to sit there. Come on, I'll show you." The walk to the bridge was short, but it gave Liara a chance to observe the station. Humans moved with efficiency, their energy tempered by purpose. Aliens of all shapes passed by, some staring at her with curiosity, others simply going about their business. She felt both excitement and a strange nervousness, realizing that she was stepping into a world very different from the polite, ordered halls of her palace. Once on the bridge, Elias gestured to the chair. "This is where I sit when piloting the ship. Everything is controlled from here. Navigation, communications, sensors. But it's more than a chair. You have to learn to understand the ship as if it were part of you." Liara's eyes sparkled. She stepped closer, brushing her hand against the armrest. "It feels alive," she said softly. Elias nodded. "In a way, it is. A ship responds to thought and intention. Here, let me show you." He guided her hand to a series of panels, buttons, and holographic displays. "These are the main controls. Each one has a purpose. Humans are not the strongest creatures, Princess, but we survive and thrive because we learn, adapt, and solve problems no one else can." Liara listened intently, her fascination growing. She leaned forward, trying to understand each control, each display. "You mean humans survive in space because of cleverness, not just technology?" "Exactly," Elias said, smiling. "We are clever. We find solutions when none seem possible. That is our greatest strength." For the next hour, Elias demonstrated basic operations, letting Liara take the controls while he explained navigation, docking procedures, and emergency protocols. Her initial hesitance slowly gave way to confidence, and soon she was operating the panels with curiosity and care. She made small mistakes, but Elias corrected her gently, encouraging her with quiet patience. Each success brought a bright, triumphant smile to her face, and Elias couldn't help but admire her courage to learn something so foreign. "Humans are remarkable," she said, half to herself. Even your ships have personality. They do, Elias agreed. And every crew member has to learn to understand them, or they won't survive long. As they worked, a warning light blinked on one of the displays. Elias's expression shifted slightly, alert but not alarmed. Princess, it seems your shuttle is not fully repaired. We'll need to make sure it's safe before you return home. Liara looked concerned. Is it dangerous? It can be, Elias admitted. Space is not forgiving. Even the smallest failure can become a big problem. But we'll handle it. Elias's calmness reassured her. She had expected humans to be strong physically, but she was beginning to see that their true strength lay in courage, knowledge, and ingenuity. Even facing uncertainty, Elias remained composed, solving problems with careful thought and experience. The station's automated announcements interrupted their lesson, warning of an approaching vessel entering restricted space. Elias's eyes narrowed slightly. We might have company, he murmured. Liara followed his gaze, noticing a small group of ships maneuvering aggressively near the station. Are they attacking? She asked, a flicker of fear in her eyes. Not yet, Elias replied, standing and moving to the communication panel. But we need to be prepared. Sometimes the galaxy tests us in unexpected ways. Humans, we just find a way to survive and protect those who cannot protect themselves. Liara's respect for him grew. She had seen kings and generals back home, yet this human, a simple explorer and captain, radiated a calm authority that was both reassuring and inspiring. Minutes later, a small ship attempted to dock forcefully with the station, ignoring clearance protocols. Security teams moved to intercept, but Elias stayed with Liara. Stay calm, he said. This is not uncommon. The galaxy has those who push boundaries, who believe rules do not apply to them. But humans have always stood firm, and we always adapt. Liara nodded, trying to absorb his words. Her heart raced with excitement and tension, but she also felt a strange thrill. She had never seen space in such chaos before, and yet, under Elias's guidance, she felt safe. Can I help? She asked quietly, her curiosity stronger than fear. Elias smiled. Yes. Watch and learn. That is the first step. Later you may try something yourself. But for now, observation is key. As the rogue ship moved closer, Elias operated the communication panel and contacted the station authorities. Stand down, he commanded, projecting confidence. The humans on the station worked swiftly, their quick coordination demonstrating that strategy and intelligence often mattered more than sheer firepower. Liara observed, her eyes wide, as Elias explained each maneuver and decision. She noticed how humans predicted the rogue ship's moves, how they adapted when things went wrong, and how they used minimal resources to maximum effect. Her admiration grew with every action. After several tense moments, the rogue ship finally retreated, unable to breach the station's defenses. Elias leaned back, letting out a quiet breath. And that, Princess, is human resilience. We do not always fight the biggest battles with the biggest weapons. We fight smart, and we fight together. Liara sat silently for a moment, letting his words sink in. She had seen royalty from countless empires face threats, but she had never witnessed this combination of intelligence, courage, and calm determination. I understand now, she said softly. Humans may be few, but you are mighty. Elias nodded, returning his attention to her. And you, Princess, have the potential to learn from that. The galaxy is wide, and there is much to see. But knowledge, courage, and adaptability, these will always serve you better than numbers or rank. Liara smiled, feeling a new sense of purpose. She had arrived at the station uncertain and nervous, but now she felt inspired. Humans were not just survivors. They were teachers, innovators, and protectors. Elias glanced at the bridge controls, then back at Liara. Tomorrow, we will make sure your shuttle is repaired. For now, rest and observe. You have learned much today, and the galaxy always has more lessons waiting. Liara nodded, but she could not stop thinking about the chair, the controls, and the human beside her. There was a quiet joy in learning, in understanding something so foreign yet so alive. And as she watched Elias prepare for the next wave of challenges, she realized that humans were not just remarkable, they were extraordinary. As night fell over the station, the lights reflecting off the ships and distant stars, Liara knew that this visit would change her perspective forever. She had not only witnessed human skill and courage, but she had begun to understand the heart of what made them strong. And somewhere deep inside, she felt a spark of excitement for the adventures that awaited, knowing that she would face them alongside humans who could teach her not only how to survive, but how to thrive. The space station was quiet now, but the calm felt fragile. Captain Elias Drake kept his eyes on the sensors, scanning the void beyond the docking bays. Rogue ships could return at any moment, and though the first confrontation had been brief, it had reminded everyone aboard of the galaxy's unpredictability. Princess Liara, sitting beside him on the veteran exploration ship's bridge, was eager yet focused. The events of the previous day had left her impressed with human skill and composure. She had learned much, but she also knew that true understanding came not from observation alone, but from experience. "Are you ready for today's lesson?" Elias asked with a small smile. Liara nodded. "Yes, I want to learn everything you can show me." Elias gestured to the display panels. "Today, you will see how humans handle danger when it arrives unexpectedly. We prepare, we plan, and we adapt. But we also face the unknown with courage." As he spoke, the station's alarms blared. Red lights flashed, and automated announcements warned of multiple incoming vessels. Elias's expression remained calm, but his mind raced through tactical options. "Princess, stay calm," he said. "These are just traders who have mistaken the station for an unprotected hub. We will handle them, and you will see how humans think under pressure." Liara's eyes widened, but she felt no fear, only a growing curiosity. She had watched humans react before, but now she would witness real-time problem-solving. The rogue ships maneuvered closer, their pilots aggressive yet reckless. Elias moved quickly, coordinating with station security. "We will guide the intruders away from civilian areas and prevent damage. Watch carefully. The key is efficiency, not brute force." He demonstrated rapid commands, issuing instructions to the station's automated defenses, rerouting power, and predicting enemy maneuvers. Liara leaned forward, memorizing every movement, every decision. "Humans think differently than other species," Elias explained. "We anticipate, we adapt, and we improvise. Strength is not always physical. Intelligence and planning often matter more." Liara nodded, absorbing every word. Her own people relied heavily on tradition and protocol. Here she saw flexibility, creativity, and courage blended seamlessly. The rogue ships attempted to breach a docking bay, but Elias anticipated the move. "Divert power to the shields and use the gravity dampeners to slow their approach," he commanded. The strategy worked. The intruders faltered, giving the station's defense systems an advantage. "Impressive," Liara whispered. "You think of everything." Elias shrugged modestly. "We survive by thinking, not by relying on size or firepower alone." The battle continued, but it was more of a strategic game than a violent clash. Humans and station defenses worked together like a well-practiced team, predicting movements, setting traps, and turning each obstacle into an advantage. Liara could hardly believe what she was witnessing. The calm precision, the anticipation of the unknown, the ability to adapt instantly. It was all remarkable. Then Elias gestured to a tactical map. Now, Princess, you will contribute. Observe, and when I give the signal, you may make a suggestion. Humans learn quickly, but we also learn from others who see things differently. Liara studied the display, noting patterns in the intruder's movement. She suggested a diversion using a combination of decoy ships and automated drones. Elias paused, considering her idea. "Not bad," he said with a grin. "Let's try it." Following her suggestion, the team deployed decoys and drones, luring the intruders into a controlled area. The rogue ships, confused and trapped, had no choice but to retreat. The threat was neutralized without any harm to the station or its occupants. Liara leaned back, exhilarated. I never imagined humans could be so clever. It's not just strength, it's thinking, reacting, and learning instantly." Elias nodded. "Exactly. That is the essence of human resilience. We are not invincible, but we survive. We adapt, and we protect those who cannot protect themselves." The adrenaline of the moment faded, leaving a sense of accomplishment. Liara realized that courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Humans, she now understood, faced danger with a combination of calmness and intelligence that made them extraordinary. As the station returned to normal operations, Elias guided Liara back to the ship's bridge. "You did well," he said. "Observing is important, but taking initiative is what separates those who follow from those who lead." Liara's eyes shone with newfound confidence. "I want to learn more, not just to watch, but to think and act like you." Elias smiled. "That is the spirit. The galaxy will test you in ways you cannot imagine. Humans have faced countless challenges, and each one has taught us something new. You, too, can learn from them." They spent the rest of the day reviewing navigation, emergency procedures, and tactical planning. Liara tried operating minor controls, adjusting power systems, and even guiding a small shuttle through a simulated course. She made mistakes, but Elias encouraged her patiently, showing that errors were part of the learning process. "You see, Princess," he said, "humans grow stronger through experience. We do not fear mistakes. We use them to improve. That is why we survive where others fail." Liara absorbed every lesson, inspired by the human capacity for growth and resilience. She began to see that intelligence, creativity, and courage were qualities that could not be measured by physical power alone. Humans, small in number, could still shape the course of events in ways far beyond their size. As the day ended, the space station's lights reflected softly on the ship's polished surfaces. Liara sat quietly in the captain's chair, remembering her initial excitement when she first saw it. It was more than a seat. It symbolized leadership, responsibility, and the ability to face the unknown. Elias watched her, sensing the change in her demeanor. She was no longer the hesitant visitor who had stepped off her shuttle hours ago. She was curious, confident, and eager to understand the essence of human strength. "You have done well today," Elias said quietly. "Remember, Princess, the galaxy is vast and unpredictable. You cannot prepare for everything, but you can always learn, adapt, and rise to the challenge." Liara nodded, her eyes fixed on the glowing stars beyond the station. "I understand now," she said. "Humans are not just explorers. You are teachers, leaders, and protectors. I hope to carry these lessons back to my people." Elias smiled. "And I hope you will. The galaxy benefits when knowledge and courage are shared. Humans may be small, but our impact is great. We survive, we innovate, and we inspire. That is what makes us remarkable." As the princess prepared to leave, her shuttle fully repaired and ready, she paused at the hatch, turning back to Elias. "Thank you, Captain, for showing me what it truly means to be human, for teaching me that strength comes in many forms." Elias nodded. "It was my honor, Princess. Remember, courage and intelligence are always your allies, and perhaps one day our paths will cross again, in another corner of the galaxy." Liara stepped into her shuttle, a thoughtful expression on her face. She realized that her visit had changed her perspective forever. Humans were not just beings of flesh and bone. They were thinkers, problem solvers, and resilient spirits capable of extraordinary deeds. The shuttle lifted gracefully from the station, disappearing into the stars. Elias watched until it was a distant speck, then returned to his ship's controls, ready for the next challenge the galaxy might send. As the station settled into its usual rhythm, both human and alien visitors continued their work, unaware of the lessons just learned. Yet, somewhere in the mind of a young alien princess, a spark had been ignited, a spark of understanding, respect, and inspiration drawn from the courage, ingenuity, and heart of humanity. Liara's adventure had shown her that even in the vast and sometimes dangerous galaxy, intelligence, courage, and adaptability could make the smallest beings mighty. She had witnessed human ingenuity firsthand and realized that strength was not always measured in size or weapons, but in creativity, resilience, and the courage to face the unknown. As the stars twinkled beyond the station, Elias leaned back in his chair, a quiet satisfaction settling over him. The galaxy was unpredictable. Challenges were constant, but humans had a way of meeting them that was unmatched. And in the wake of every adventure, lessons were passed on, respect was earned, and bonds were formed, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. Liara would carry those lessons forward, inspired by the humans she had met, and perhaps one day she would share them with her people. And for Elias, there was satisfaction in knowing that the legacy of human resilience had touched another corner of the galaxy, leaving a spark of hope, admiration, and understanding where it was most needed. The stars stretched endlessly, promising new adventures, new lessons, and the infinite potential of beings who dared to think, act, and persevere. Humans had proven once again that they could face the unknown, adapt, and thrive, qualities that no one, not even royalty from the farthest reaches of the galaxy, could ignore. And somewhere beyond the station, the galaxy waited, filled with challenges yet to be met, mysteries yet to be solved, and stories yet to be written.